Yeah, I would tell you the last year in particular has brought much more instability and questions about where the field itself is headed. To Chris's point, if you had told me 3 years ago that the number one thing I would hear about from our members was around tariffs, I would have told you were crazy. But it absolutely was the number one thing that we heard about from communities, not just here in the United States, but across the globe. When we did the State of the Field survey last year in 2025, a couple things rang true from our ADOs. Number one, there's a new focus on housing and workforce issues. Those have always been prevalent in the conversations, but I think it's really accelerated. Both housing affordability, as well as, how do you drive skills and talent and workforce, and how do you leverage funding to make sure that you can really align with the workforce development side of the house. Economic developers are always engaged, but it's become a much more prevalent conversation and a really important part of the work that economic developers are doing. Second, policy instability has been probably the number one issue for economic development organizations over the last year. Because it's swung from a federal state that had once in a generation funding coming through to the economic development field to now one that is cutting back. You've got states that are now scrambling to identify what policies they want to focus on. And so it's become much more state and local focused over the last year than it has been in the past, where maybe the federal government played a larger role. There's also declining public trust. We see across the country, across the globe, quite frankly, community activism happening around economic development in ways that we just frankly haven't seen in the past. You've got people much more engaged in this process, whether you're talking about utilities or EDOs and the new projects that are coming forward. You've got communities engaging in new and different ways. And so economic developers have had to adapt to that, understand how to be more proactive in the engagement with the community as projects move forward, and to ensure that they are being truly proactive in those efforts so that they don't have to be reactive as a result. So it's certainly been an interesting last year. I think it's only going to accelerate and continue over the next 3 years. And to Chris's point, the uncertainty is what is really crippling for businesses and for economic development organizations.